أفرأيتم ما تحرثون أأنتم تزرعونه أم نحن الزارعون.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Nadira. I am currently a Hijrah in the Gambia, and this channel is about two things. This channel is about me documenting my journey to becoming a homesteader and living a holistic lifestyle, and it's also about tips and tricks on how you can make hijrah. So it's hijrah motivation and tips and tricks. So here's the thing, right? There are so many reasons why many of the Muslims, especially now where there's like a bit of a movement going on where a lot of the Muslims are trying to migrate. And there are countless reasons why so many people are trying to migrate. But from the main reasons is because the Muslims are craving living in an Islamic environment. They are craving being able to live and practice their religion in an environment that is Islamic in peace. We want to be able to go out about our daily lives without corruption and evil coming at us from every angle. I remember when I was first trying to make hijrah, and it was in December time, so it was around the Christmas period. And I know that many of you will be able to relate to how annoying this can be when you're going out during this time of year and there's just an overwhelming amount of Christmas decor and Christmas lights. You're going into the shops, you're going into the supermarkets, you're going into the malls, for example, and it's Christmas decorations everywhere. They've got all the Christmas songs playing, so it's like it's constantly playing, and you feel like you can't even go shopping or you can't even do your shopping in peace because you don't want to have to be listening to the Christmas jingles everywhere you go. When you want to buy certain things, everything is just Christmas. All the latest, maybe you want to buy toys for your children, is being attributed towards Christmas, or it's got Christmas on the wrapping or on the packaging. It's just everywhere you look, it's Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. And it can be very, very difficult for a Muslim specifically who is trying their hardest to stay grounded in their tawheed. You know, you're going out with your children and you have to teach them and nurture them and advise them not to become infatuated with all the Christmas lights that are around them, you know, because that's one of the easiest ways to entice a child, by the Christmas decorations and the lights and everything like that. And it can be especially difficult on the revert, those of us who are revert Muslims in particular. And the reason why I say that is because if you're a revert, and especially if you're like the only Muslim in your family, or you're one of very, very few Muslims in your family, and you know, during that time, during Christmas time, your family are celebrating Christmas, you know, and they're, you know, being together, they're doing whatever they do. Whilst your non-Muslim family members are off celebrating and enjoying their Christmas, it can take some real strength and iman to refrain from taking part in these practices, especially when it's practices that you've been doing your whole life. And now that you're a Muslim, you've, you know, had to stop doing it. For a lot of reverts, you know, especially during the beginning stages of them becoming Muslim, you know, because their non-Muslim family members also need to get used to the idea of them becoming a Muslim. They also need to learn that, you know, there's certain things that that family member who is now a Muslim, they are no longer going to take part in. So in the beginning stages, You know, the new Muslim, the revert, may experience their family members still calling them to come and celebrate with them, and them having to find ways to politely decline it. And that in itself can even be a fitna, because so many people experience things where their family members become even offended that they don't want to come and celebrate Christmas with them. And that can cause a fitna within the family in itself. And that can take a real toll on that person as a new Muslim, as a revert. And then you have the other side of things, where the revert experiences that loneliness. Because if you think about it, okay, somebody grows up celebrating Christmas their entire life. They attribute that Christmas to a good time, a happy time, a time where you're used to seeing your family and friends on that day, and everyone celebrating and rejoicing and being happy. Maybe your mother, your grandmother, your aunties, or whoever cook big meals on that day, so you have like abundance of food and varieties of food on that day. You're used to seeing your cousins and everyone coming round, and you just having a nice time. You're used to being able to get up and open up your Christmas presents and getting the certain things that you was looking forward to, and whatever else comes with that celebration. To now you become a Muslim, and all of that has come to a stop. But during the Christmas period, your family members, non-Muslim family members, they're still out there, still celebrating. The show still goes on whilst you're, maybe at home or whatever. And sometimes people might feel like they are missing out on it. Or maybe not missing out on it because, a lot of the time, alhamdulillah, we're happy with the sacrifice that we've made because we've done it fi sabilillah. However, that thing of not being able to be with your family during that time, it makes people feel, especially the reverts, they can feel quite lonely during that time of year, which is why a lot of the du'at in the West, like America, the UK, Canada, and so on and so forth, they organize winter conferences so that they can somewhat substitute for that time of year for the Muslims, so that they don't feel like they don't have to feel alone during this time of year, and it kind of gives them something to do or somewhere to go during that time. Which is why one of the reasons why when people make hijrah, they're so excited to move to a Muslim country, is because they have this idea of when they move to a Muslim country, they're going to be in a Muslim environment, and all of that stuff, that fitna of Christmas and birthdays and I don't know, whatever else that comes with it, which is a fitna for them in the West. When they move to a Muslim country, they don't have to experience that anymore. They can escape it. But then what happens is, a lot of the time when people make hijrah to many Muslim countries, this is a case in many Muslim countries, they make hijrah and they come to realize that even in those Muslim countries, they are still celebrating Christmas, and this is something that's known, in many, they're still doing it. And the reason why this is because, especially in places like Egypt, for example, there, although it's a Muslim country, to them, Christmas is they're not attributing Christmas to Christianity. So to them, Christmas is just a holiday and it's just something that people do. Because I even remember there was a time, right, where I was in a taxi with my husband, and the taxi driver in Egypt, he had some kind of a Christmas decoration hanging from his wind mirror. I think it was like a Santa Claus or something. And my husband was like, why do you have this here? Why have you got this hanging? And he's just like, oh, it's that time, whatever, I don't know, something. He said something. And my husband said, do you know like why people celebrate Christmas? And do you know that people say that this is the birthday of Isa? And the guy was so shocked. Like he was like, huh? He was like, huh? Hada ajib. Like that. He was like, so to him, it's like, sometimes they don't even understand or know um, the reason why people even celebrate Christmas. A lot of people even celebrate Christmas. They just think it's just a general thing, like something that they do. A lot of them. So this is why you go to certain countries and you will see them with Christmas, doing Christmas, because to them it's not even attributed to the religion of Christianity. And I know you can go deep and say, look, the us love Christmas, but we're not going to get into that. But what I'm trying to explain is that when people make hijrah to these countries, whether it be to Cairo, whether it be to Morocco, whether it be to even Riyadh in some places, whether it be to Dubai, whether it be to Qatar, whether it be to like any of these countries, right? I would definitely advise you not to have it in your mind or to expect perfection from any of these countries, because this is the dunya. None of these countries are perfect. None of them are perfect. They do fall short. They do fall short. They do fall short. And just because it's a Muslim country, that doesn't mean that they don't fall short. So having the expectation that they are going to be 10/10 in every single thing, you are in for a rude awakening. And when you move to a country and you have that expectation, when you see certain things and certain practices going on, it can be very, very disheartening. So I would definitely say, for the person that is trying to make hijrah, do not have that expectation from the Muslim countries. Have the expectation and the thought in your mind that even in the Muslim countries, they are going to fall short, because this is not Jannah. Now, saying that, just because many of the Muslim countries celebrate Christmas, that doesn't mean that that should dishearten you and make you feel like, oh, well, what's the point of me making hijrah then? What's the point of me making hijrah? I might as well just stay in Darul Kufr if they're going to still be doing these practices. No, no, no. It's not about saying, okay, just because they do certain things, I'm not going to make hijrah to these countries. No, that's not how you do it. It's about finding the solution to the problem. In a lot of these countries, you will find that that they are doing these practices in the less religious areas, the more tourist areas, and so on and so forth. So the solution to it is to stay away from those areas. Don't move to those particular areas when making hijrah. Stay away from those areas during that period of year. Stay away from it and stick to the more religious areas, the more humble areas, the more quiet areas, the more laid back areas. And if you feel like, okay, in some countries they don't have that, then go to the countries that do have that. Because I'm telling you now, they have it in Egypt, they have it in Morocco, they have it in Saudi, they have it in Qatar, they have it in the UAE and Dubai. They have it in a lot of these countries, even if they are celebrating Christmas. They have the areas where you can be, where you don't even realize that they're doing Christmas down there. And that's usually in the more religious areas, the more stripped back areas. So I would definitely say that's the solution. That's the way that you go about that issue. It's not an excuse for you to then say, oh, that's why I'm not making hijrah. There's no point of me making hijrah. Let's throw that excuse out the window now. For us now, here in Gambia, it's a similar situation. Gambia is a Muslim country. However, in certain areas, you're going to see them with Christmas decoration. A lot of the shops here are being run by people from like India, for example, who are not even necessarily Muslim. Some of them are Hindu. And whatever time of year it is, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Eid, whether it's Valentine's, whether it's Halloween, whatever it is, whatever time of year it is, if you're from the UK or maybe like the US or the West, anywhere, a lot of the places in the West where, you will know that, the Indian shops, they will put up decorations in accordance to what holiday it is. In Gambia, you have in certain areas, the Indians, they own many of the supermarkets, and so you're gonna see them put up Christmas decorations around Christmas time. But for us, this is one of the many reasons why we are so keen to develop and bring settlement to the area of Jambanjelly in the Gambia, because when we chose to bring our development to Jambanjelly, when we chose the area of Jambanjelly, we chose it strategically. We chose it strategically, and the reason why it is such a perfect place to establish everything that we're trying to establish as it relates to our community, as it relates to our masjid, as it relates to our businesses and everything else, is because Jambanjelly is an area that is somewhat untouched. It's not, and when I say that, I mean like it's not like other areas like Senegambia, for example, where it's rife with corruption and nightclubs and so on and so forth down there. Jambanjelly is a place where there's hardly any tourists up there. It's very calm. It's got a lot of practicing Muslims already up there. You go up into the main turntable of Jambanjelly, the main high street. They've got a big masjid there where they a lot of the time they're playing Quran out loud, and so you'll just be walking through the street and you'll hear them playing the Quran out loud, and that's just how it is. So for us to be able to come there and establish what we are establishing, it has been very easy for us, alhamdulillah, and may Allah continue to bless it, protect it, and grant us success. Ameen. And also the other reason why we strategically chose Jambanjelly is because it already has the establishment of Kulliyatul Imam al-Bukhari. It already has the establishment of Imam al-Bukhari University. One of the biggest things and one of the most important things that was at the center of this plan of what we have and what we're trying to establish in the Gambia is to attach ourselves to people of knowledge in the land that we are in. Okay, and we're at the university, because we study there, so they are our teachers. We have our teachers that are already there. We are now very close to the university. If we have any affairs that need to be dealt with, we can always take it back to those who know more than us at the university. So we have attached ourselves to knowledge. The head of the university, so to speak, who is Sheikh Abu Ubaidah Muhammad Silva, and who is overseeing us and supporting us. So any affairs that we have can always be taken back to him. So, which I feel like is a very, very pivotal part of the establishment and everything that we are trying to do. Is very important. Us doing what we're doing in Jambanjelly is to create a community and to create a safe space and an environment where so people can make hijrah and not have to worry about the things that they worried about back in the West. Like, for example, during the time of Christmas, we want to make that area a place where, even if it is during the time of December where people are celebrating Christmas in other places, when you're in the area of Jambanjelly, when you're in this area, when you're within our community that we are creating up in Jambanjelly, you don't even realize. You don't even know. You don't even hear anything about Christmas. We're trying to create a safe space for the Muslims to make hijrah. So we encourage so many people to come and join the community. We are building a masjid. We are building schools. We are building nurseries. We are building marakahs. We are establishing accommodations for people to live. You know, we are doing so much. We are facilitating for people to come and establish their own businesses there. You know, so we are doing so much up in the area of Jambanjelly, and we encourage people to get involved with us and come and support us. And if you're able, join us up there. From one of the ways that you can obviously support us is with the establishment of Masjid Muhajirin, which is going to be the pillar of our community. You know, so we are currently raising funds to help with the establishment of that. Alhamdulillah, everything has started. The project has started with that. But for anyone that wants to share the reward of this great project that, you know, has so much potential, and I really feel like it's going to go so far, you can share your portion of the reward by donating to Masjid Muhajirin. The link is below, inshallah, and help support us and get this masjid open. Also, if you don't already know, I've mentioned it many times before, the Gambia real estate project, which is a passive income investment opportunity that as well we have set up for those who want to make hijrah and want to earn a sustainable income, where, you know, we are building apartments in the area of Jambanjelly again, and anyone who invests and buys shares and becomes a shareholder in the company will receive back a return on their investment that will also act as, you know, a means of income for you, whether it is a contribution to your income or it acts as a means of your main stream of income. You know, it really depends on how you invest, how many shares you buy. But more information about that, I'll put the link for that below as well, inshallah. If you click the link, there's a video and there's a landing page that explains and breaks down how everything works. And there's also an email that you can send us an email on, where if you have any more questions, inshallah, we try our best to answer them to the best of our abilities, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. The point of this video is to explain that, you know, many people, they make hijrah, they're excited to make hijrah, and then they move to the Muslim countries, and then they see that the Muslim countries are not what they expected it to be. They're taking part and they're practicing certain things that they didn't expect from them. So tip number one is don't have that expectation for the Muslim countries. Don't have that expectation because they're not perfect. Rather, what you do is you look for the solution. You look for the solution. When you have a solution, you're good to go, inshallah. So for me, what I would advise is make hijrah to a Muslim country and you find that they're doing certain things in certain areas. Go to the areas where they're not doing those things. Go to the more religious areas. Go to the more religious countries. If you find that, you know, there's a Muslim country and it's not very religious, go to another country then. The dunya is wasi'ah. The dunya is vast. There's so many to choose from, and different countries are for different people. You have to find what works for you. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found benefit in this video. I hope you found this video to be insightful. If there's any other topics relating to hijrah that you would like me to address, put them in the comment box below, inshallah, and I will try and get to it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أفرأيتم ما تحرثون أأنتم تزرعونه أم نحن الزارعون